our second community call. And here's a quick recap just for those who missed our first call. So this community call is targeted at anyone who uses Strapi. And the objective is to connect the Strapi community and the team to share updates, ask questions, and share insights. So let's get started with today's agenda. So as we mention every week, we always have different ways to get involved in the community, and I'll go over today the Right for Community program. I'll go over the details. Next, we have a partner program with Adrien. So we have a new partner program, and I'll let Adrien explore more in details. Followed as well with the Q&A. So feel free to ask any questions or comments. So last call, we have the text channel. So feel free to post your questions there, and we'll cover all your concerns and questions. Next, Remi will be joining us today for a new product updates. We'll talk about the plugin migration now with the V4. And at last, we're going to have a quick shout out for the new Strappy community stars joining us. So as I mentioned, we have the Right for Community program. So we've been trying to promote this program for a couple of weeks. We have a lot of issues open on GitHub, a lot of topics, tutorials, use cases that we'd like our community to cover. So if you have some free time, if you have a project that you created using Strapi, feel free to head over to GitHub and choose a topic or pitch your own idea. We'll go over the article, and it's a very interesting program so far. We have more than 50 writers, and the program is growing rapidly. We have around 4 blog posts being published every week. It's a great way to showcase your work also on social media. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions here in Discord. Next, I'll let Adrien share his the new program for today. Adrien?
Absolutely. I should be able to share my screen as well right now. Can everyone see it okay? I'll take that as yes, because we have to just switch between the two.
Yeah, it's working.
All right. Thanks very much, everyone. So yeah, thanks everyone here. Today I'm talking about the Strappy Partner Program. I'm a Partner Development Manager at Strappy, and this is more of a sneak peek into our newest iteration on the Partner Program. Kind of going over exactly what is the spirit of partnering, why it'd be interesting to partner with Strappy. To be clear, this could be any kind of large agency, digital agency company, or you could just be a freelancer who wants to spread the good word about Strappy or work with some more projects. Talk a little bit more about the program foundations, how we help each other, and some of the benefits you get out of it, and then obviously in the end, how do you get started? So let's go. Of course, if you have any questions throughout this, feel free to ask in the chat, and we'll be sure to address them in the Q&A afterwards. So the spirit of partnering, the partner program, really it's an extension of our purpose to exist to fuel the world's creativity and productivity by unleashing the power of content. Now, we know basically a lot of our clients, or even some projects where they don't necessarily have the resources in-house to go ahead with like a full Jamstack project, or don't necessarily have the developers to do that. So we're looking for solution partners that can assist our clients with their digital projects to lead the kind of that paradigm shift going from a monolithic CMS or maybe a theme-based CMS to more of a headless CMS for depending on the nature of the project. Obviously, this is also, we're looking at these partners to leverage all these modern frameworks, again, to have really high-performing websites and more secure websites as well, to pioneer also this components approach to content, kind of like atomic design. So why would someone want to partner with Strappy? Well, I'm sure a lot of you are convinced, about the headless approach, but obviously we do see a lot of agencies that are right now in the middle of a transition. Like they've been working with a lot of traditional CMSs for a long time, and they're just in a status where they're like, all right, what is going to be our next stack for the next 5 years? What are we going to commit to? And there are so many different solutions out there right now. So obviously going headless does offer a lot of advantages, whether it be being able to leverage modern front-end frameworks or just freedom of architecture. You could go go with your client's architecture, their legacy architecture, or you could offer your own, cloud architecture if you have that in the works as well. Obviously, the ability to create content for any kind of device, omni-channel kind of tools and stuff like that. And then it is very much, we believe, in terms of the future of content delivery and hopefully offering in the end a lower overall cost of the project. So that's kind of like the goal in general of why going headless. And then, of course, why would you go with a tool like Strappy? Again, most of you are familiar with this, but we do want to emphasize how customizable it is working with Strappy versus a lot of the other headless SaaS solutions out there. We're still number one open source community in terms of community, in terms of GitHub stars, and we do thank the community for that, by the way. Obviously, self-hosted, really, really big aspect. Again, keep control over your data. You are the ones putting that, again, either locally or in the cloud. And of course, 100% JavaScript. So we would like for our agencies to start investing in a solution that's growing with our community and with limitless customizations. Now, for the partner program foundations, well, how do we work? How do we help each other out? This is really the three pillars of the partner program today in sales, marketing, and technical side of things. Sales really there basically to give you all the tools you need, all the materials you need to convey the value about Strappy, whether that be, just giving you a deck, a sales deck, being able to use our logo, or being able to put you in contact with some of our customers that have transitioned from a WordPress to a Strappy. Very happy to do that. And as a partner, of course, you get to have some advantages in terms of discounts, in terms of our enterprise plans. Most of you might be using the Community Edition, but there is also, of course, the Enterprise Edition that offers some really advanced features, whether it be SSO or user roles. And you get a 10% minimum discount starting with the partner program. Now, the other tier is marketing. Again, as a partner, you can use your own logo on your website, on your presentations, and it's also an opportunity for us to collaborate, with the marketing team on so many different types of format of content. It could be just a case study article, it could be a webinar, a blog post, and much more. Honestly, this is where we see agencies, depending on what they want to do, what they feel comfortable doing with. It could be a meetup locally to kind of spread the good word within the developer community in your area. Really, the sky's the limit on this one. And the last thing is you get to get featured on Strappy.io's website. So we have a partner listing page. So then people can see that you're an official partner of Strappy and can contact you directly if they have a project. They see that you're specialized in, I don't know, Gatsby or whatever framework you want, and they can contact you directly. The last pillar is technical. So we're there to provide some technical assistance to help you get started. Obviously, just pointing to the right documentation, but also maybe available to address some of your clients' technical questions that they may have. A lot of times we see this of lengthy requirement sheets where you want to have to go over all the features and technical aspects. Happy to assist our partners in that. And of course, getting access to some beta features and an opportunity to share your feedback with the product team. Now, these are listed here in terms of different bullet points. We also are going to have a much more extensive list that's going to be available online, so you can see exactly what are the benefits, what it can bring you being a partner with Strappy. Now, how to begin? For the moment, it's going to be very easy. We want to be as inclusive as possible at the beginning, get as many partners in. So for the moment, we used to have the Academy, but now we're going to have a Strappy knowledge quiz. This quiz is an easy way for us to know, do you know the main things? Do you know the main things about Strappy? When was it founded? What's an easy way to start your Strappy project? The differences between the Community Edition and the Enterprise Edition. We have a pretty standard partner agreement, and then that's it. You're become a Strappy partner as a Community Edition. And then, of course, that's when you kind of work your way through. You have a partner portal where you're going to have all those materials that I was telling you about, some of the technical documentation, and then assisting you in selling your first Strappy Enterprise project. After that comes working your way through the partner tiers, and that's here then detailed here, and some of the ARR expectations you get, some of the number of showcases you have to work basically to become from community to professional, and then obviously content contributions, as I mentioned, wide array of different kinds of contributions that you can bring. And that's it for the partner program for today. Very eager to, we're going to be communicating a lot more in the coming weeks about that, specializing it more, updating our website. But happy to share more details right now and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much. Feel free to post your questions on the community call text channel.
Looks like we have one right now, Adrien. Can we access the doc that you were sharing?
Absolutely, yeah, I can give you access to that. Yep, sure. I can just like send you either PDF format or whatever. But yeah, I'll do that right away. So Thibaut, thanks for that question. Are we, what kind of companies can join the partner program? Are we restricting to specific ones? At this point, no. Honestly, we're pretty open to any kind of digital agency that's passionate about Strappy. Then they're really just going to differentiate themselves on what they do, on maybe the client satisfaction. Of course, there is a big aspect to that where part of our sales cycle, we talk to large companies that don't necessarily have the maturity level to implement a tool like Strappy, and that's when we're going to try and then put you in contact with these companies. So again, that's really going to depend more on criteria such as potentially like your availability, the size of your company, where you're located is obviously a huge aspect. Language barrier can also be one. So right now, freelancers and companies are allowed to join.
I see some questions.
We want some team up. Do you have some numbers for referral program? Um, could you maybe give some details as to like numbers for referral program? Like how many opportunities there could be, or what do you mean? Oh, so numbers for 10% of the discount for the plan. Yes. As a referral, you would still get a 10% discount on any enterprise plan. No, I mean, obviously, we're definitely not going to impose the. Sorry, Saad, thanks for the question. So, is it important for the agency clients to use the enterprise version of Strappy? Really, I think we're never going to impose the enterprise edition of Strappy. That's why we're very committed to having the community edition, and we're going to have that be free forever. If a project does not require those features or that additional support, go ahead, continue with the community edition. You can still work your way through the ranks of the Strappy program, having more showcases, by having more marketing projects with us. Good question. What does ARR stand for? It was in the table. So that's annual recurring revenue. So that is, yes, indeed, selling the enterprise program as well. So that's going to be, starting with like a bronze plan, starting with like a silver plan, whatever. Absolutely, absolutely. You are eligible to be a part of the Strappy partner program. Sunny, yes, it's true. Right now, it's not a kickback like you can find in potentially some other partner programs. Right now, it's just an overall discount that is offered to the end client. Now, again, if you act as a reseller, so you're the one purchasing the license, and we're not signing with your client directly, you're the ones getting that discount. Kind of depends how you want to act as a between, like if your client wants to sign directly with Strappy, or if they prefer to go through you to sign. What we are going to offer, though, is going to be more like additional help on the marketing or on the technical side for the agencies. Interesting, Sensen. I hadn't heard about that one. Like, so not convenient for the reseller. Sometimes income tax is bigger than 10%. Yeah, I actually be interested to learn a little bit more about that because I haven't encountered that question before.
So I think that's it. Adrian,
I
thank you so
think
much.
so. Yeah, no worries. I was just seeing some people typing, but I can always take this afterwards, so not a problem afterward. I guess the last question was the quiz difficulty. Sasha, for the moment, the quiz difficulty I would say is pretty easy so far. We've built it so that we're just kind of like making sure that people are able to get into the program fairly easy, but still know a minimal amount, at least a sufficient amount about Strappy, and then kind of we're probably going to iterate on that, maybe make it more difficult, but looking for some more feedback from you guys when you fill it out. Again, thanks everyone very much for your time. I'm going to share the presentation directly to you, and yeah, always available afterwards if you have any other questions. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Up next is Remi with some plugin migration updates.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shada. I'm going to share my screen quickly. Okay, so no slides for me. I'm just going to be showing the different resources that we have now live and trying them out in real time. So let's hope the demo goes smoothly. But anyway, so my goal for you today is to show you the different resources that we have to help you migrate to V4 and specifically to help you use the plugins on the new plugin API system with the V4 of Strapi. So the first major advancement that was made is coming from the documentation team, and it's that we now have the documentation that is online for the Strapi V4. You can view it on docs-next.strapi.io. Now, not every section of the docs is ready yet for the V4, but you can view this post on the Strapi forum that details which sections are completely ready for the Strapi V4 and which ones will be coming soon. But so today, what's interesting for us is the two sections about the plugins, which is plugins extension and plugins development, which I'm going to be quickly showing. And you can see that we now have the full documentation to create plugins on V4 with the plugin API. But now that's documentation to start plugins from scratch. And we know that many of you have already created some awesome plugins for the V3, and you don't want to start from scratch. You want to migrate your plugin from the V3 to the V4. But unfortunately, that's not going to work like right out of the box because we've introduced some breaking changes, which is why the V4 is a major version. So first of all, I'm going to show you an example through a tiny plugin that I built for a V3 app. So I've created a very, very small plugin. All that it does is that it creates a collection type that's called planets. And what it also does is that it adds a log when the application starts saying plugin registered. So that's really very much as basic as it gets for a plugin. But what I want to show you now is how we can migrate this very simple plugin into the V4 as easily as possible. So I also have on parallel an application that I created on the V4 using the V4 beta. And if I wanna link the plugin that I created for the V3 on the V4, I can now do that because if I follow the documentation of the V4, I can see that I can resolve, I can link a plugin like from my local file system. And I'm going to be trying to do that and we'll see if that works or not. So what we can do for this is we're going to need to create a plugins.js file in the config folder because this is what the documentation suggests. And we do not have yet the plugins file, so we're creating it. And now we're just going to be copying and pasting the sample from the documentation. All right. And now since I don't have the exact setup from this example, I'm just going to link where my plugin is located. So my plugin is in Strapi app v3 and it should be inside plugins, and inside plugins, my plugin v3. Okay, so now if I restart this Strapi application, we'll see what actually happens. And it's saying that Strapi plugins v3 could not be resolved. Okay, so just give me a second because this is not the error that I was expecting. I was expecting another kind of error. So I'm just going to try to, I'm going to cheat actually and use a tiny snippet that I had saved just in case. Okay, so I'm going to be resolving again the plugin that I built for the v3. So let's try to find that path. We're going to use Strapi app v3 in plugins. We should have my plugin v3. And let's see if this is actually working. Okay, so now we can see that we've got a very nasty error, and that's because we haven't updated our plugin for the v4 yet. And we can see that, for example, it cannot find the Strapi server file that is essential for the plugin API on the v4. So if we're going to try to update that plugin for the v4. And that's what we've been working for the last few days with the expansion team. Is that we've been working on a code mode, which is a tool that is going to transform your code and modify it to make it compatible with the v4. So this tool is available on GitHub. You can clone this repo just using like a git clone and the URL of that repo. That's what I've done already on my computer. So it's already ready in the terminal. Remember to do a yarn install so that you get the dependencies as well, but I've done that already. And so now we're going to try to find the command that is specific for updating a plugin to the v4. And we can see that it's the first example in the README of the code mods repo. So we can see that it's made to update a v3 plugin into an acceptable v4 plugin structure. So let's copy and paste. Let's copy and paste the command that is provided to us, and let's replace the values in the placeholders. So it's asking us for the path to the v3 plugin. So let's hope that this time I don't mess up the path, but it should be something like Strapi app v3 / plugins / my plugin v3. And now it's asking us what's the name I want to give it as a v4 plugin, because it's not going to directly modify the plugin that I had on v3. It's going to create a copy. So I need a name for that copy. And for that copy, I'm just going to name it my plugin v4. And let's hope. Oh, looks like I've made a mistake. Cannot find mod. Okay, just give me a second. I'm going to make sure that I have indeed installed all of the packages. I'm going to double check that I have copied the right command.
You have the abate instead of update plugin folder structure.
Oh, oh yeah, update. All right. Thank you very much. I could have struggled a long time for this. But so it sounds like it's an error in the README, or did I mess up the copy and paste?
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's
I
an
saw,
error
I
in
saw
the
it yesterday and didn't. I forgot
All
to
right, all
tell you.
right. Well, thank you very much for the help. Okay, so what did I mess up again, or what's going on? Node migrations, update plugin function.
It looks like you don't have the node modules for code mods installed.
Which is odd because I really should. What if I try to find it in my history? Okay, so apparently I completely messed up the copy and paste, but I managed to find the right command, and I'll be checking just after the demo what went wrong. But all right, let's focus on the result and what the migration actually did for us. So it's telling us that it did a bunch of things like creating files, moving files, controllers, models, etc. So these are changes that would have taken a lot of time to do by hand. And this is why we think it's really nice to have the code mode, and it's going to help the community migrate their plugins to the v4. But now let's check that this plugin is actually working now on the v4. So we're going to import a new path, which is the path of the plugin we just created. So my plugin v4, all right. And if I restart my Strapi application, I'm going to clear my terminal just to make some room. And if I restart my Strapi application, we can see that the plugin is indeed working. So now this is a pretty simple example since it's pretty very much as basic as a plugin can get. But you can see that the file structure was incompatible with the Strapi v4. And with the code mod, we're able to make the right transformations for it to actually start working on the new plugin API. So we now do have the plugin registered log when we start the Strapi application. And if I now log in, we should have as well the content type that was created by the plugin, which is the planet. So things are working well in the end. Thank you guys for the help. But now I'm just going to spend a little bit more time explaining what the code mod actually did. So we actually have an article that Mark Kaler from the team just published on Monday. And this article is here to explain exactly all of the things that this plugin does, that this code mode does, so that if you don't want to use the code mode and you want to instead run the scripts by hand or update your plugin by hand, you can follow this guide and it's going to guide you like every step at a time just to do the full migration of a plugin by hand. So I strongly recommend that you check out the article V4 plugin migration guide on the Strapi blog. And finally, if you have any feedback on the code mods repo, I know I do since we have some typos in the README. Feel free to create some issues on the repo. And if you want to contribute, this is very welcome. We currently have an awesome PR in progress from Thibaut, who I think is here on the call today, who is working on transforming the code mode into a CLI so that I don't have to struggle with copying and pasting the scripts, but instead so that we can have a very nice interactive experience. So stay tuned for that, and I hope this PR can go through. But yeah, so if you want to contribute or just give feedback on the code mode, this is very welcome. All right, that's it for my presentation. But here with the Strapi team, we're very eager to see what plugins you can build for the V4, and we really wanted to help you have all of the right resources, whether it's to create plugins from scratch or just migrating V3 plugins. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Very interesting. If you have any questions for Remi, feel free to post them on the text channel. And in the meantime, I just like to give a shout out to our community stars. So we've onboarded new community stars, and some of them are actually within this call. So shout out to Thibaut, Mati, of course, Sad. I hope I did not forget anyone else in the call today, but others as well. Precious, Joris, Monico, Ukpai. They've been great. They've been helping us develop the community content as well. I see some questions for you, Remi, in the text channel.
Yeah, I can see that Mati is asking if the new guide covers the front-end migration. And so it does partly cover the front-end migration because it helps you like have the right structure in your plugin for the front-end. But what it's not going to do is actually migrate your components from the Strapi Buffet repo to the new design system that you're actually going to have to do by hand. But yeah, it gets you through the first step of the migration for the front end. Sad is asking, are there changes from front end in V4 plugins compared to V3? I don't know if someone from the core team can help me with that answer, but I can tell you already that the major change on the front end for the V4 is that we're using the new Strapi design system. So it's a new library of components that you can use to compose your UI and build your plugins. So that's a very major change. That means that most plugins, if you want to integrate well with the rest of the Strapi application, will have to be pretty much rewritten from a UI perspective. like how the front end communicates with the back end. I don't know if someone else from the core team can help me with that answer.
I think we can get back to Sad after the call. One last thing before we end today's call is I'd like to get your feedback on our community call. So I just added a Typeform link in the text channel. Feel free to fill out the Typeform. If you have any other questions, feel free to. Thank you, Jim. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the text channel. Otherwise, that's it for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And we meet